So, good morning everyone. I just woke up here and do the second to last Hearthstone review for Rango Arena. So the next one is probably going tomorrow for me because I'm like 9 or 10 hours ahead of, you know, the Pacific Standard Time. So it says today, but it's probably tomorrow for me or during the night then. It's going to be the last like half of the card or so. So next review is going to be super long and then we're going to know everything and you can easily see what cards can be comboed and so on, right? But here it is then, the last few cards. You can do this right away. It's not a quick review here then, covering a few last cards before the major reveal later today, I suppose. So first of all, obviously this new warrior card, Cornered Sentry, and it's very similar to the Rat. It is probably a lot better actually in Arena than the Rat. But the Rat is, I think the Rat is pretty fine in Arena. I mean, you can usually play it. Usually you get a better trade-off because they usually get like a cheaper drop. And then a 2/6 is good, and if you play late game then it's okay, sometimes, and so on. Yeah, but it's very risky, right? This card, the risk is obviously very more like obvious, because what happens is that you get 3 1/1s, right? And noticeably they are raptors, they are beasts. So you get, so that is a bad thing though with this card though, really bad thing though, because as I said the 2 reviews back, right, in general my perception of Arena is that Hunter is usually the best pick in Arena, or one of the best pick, and it's very good class in Arena. And obviously these 3 raptors are actually beasts, so it's going to help Hunter the most, right? You can buff them and so on. Like if you play this turn, if you play Cornered Sentry turn 2, a Hunter might Houndmaster coin, right? Coin Houndmaster one of the raptors, and yeah, so there definitely are a couple of issues with it in Arena, because Hunters are maybe not the most common class to pick, but they are quite common the higher up you get, and they are hard to beat, right? So however, the warrior with its like protection with the +2 armor actually is one of the classes that have the best chance to beat Hunters. So that is true though. So it might be fine, but definitely is a chance there. And yeah, that's obviously of course a thing generally with this card, that you are giving the opponent cards you can buff. So I guess a Paladin is going to be worse, because Paladin buffs are pretty good in Arena, but King and so on are very strong in Arena. And also against Warlock, if you have a Stool deck, they have some plus up. Not so common in the more Arena, people usually go for the more late game with Abyssal Force and so on. Even though it was nerfed, people still want that kind of controlling mid-range Warlock in Arena, but this is no chance for that. So yeah, so it's a kind of tricky card, but I think it's safer than the Rat, because you know what you get. And against, for example, a Mage, something, you know, okay, she gets 3 1/1s, you can shoot with 4. That leaves you with a 2/2, you know, with taunt, kind of, right? So, and that's just kind of the other thing. Of course, for Constructed, you do have this card, and then you have Whirlwind, you have, I guess we haven't used anymore, but yeah, but you have those kind of cards. You have cards that can remove everything. And if you play, for example, the new the new Warrior Legendary that kills everything that's injured, you know, then you probably have to Whirlwind, you probably have some other, you know, would do 1 damage to everything. So likely you can also play this card because you can easily remove them and so on. You can also combo with like MCT and stuff like that. You might fill up their boards. Actually, that can be interesting. I always like the whole Ojama trio and Yu-Gi-Oh! When you give opponents like 0/1s and they're filling up the boards so they can play new cards. So this could actually be interesting if you like double up this thing and there's even 6 slots. They could fill up the board at the total. Could be interesting. Probably not very playable, but like it's an interesting thing there. But yeah, a decent card, I think, for Constructed. It might have huge issues, especially if Hunter gets good, because they are based. Yeah, actually you have the buff Paladin too, which I don't believe in. I don't believe in very much the Galvadon buff Paladin questing. But if that sees place and becomes popular, or at least somewhat popular, then this card is horrible, right? Because you're giving them 3 1/1s, you can easily buff them if they have a buff Paladin deck, right? So they do the quest. So they have, you know, play buff, 6 buffs and get a Gavadon, and they are like, and then you ask to do this thing, and they're like, oh, thank you, here I buff one of those 2/2s with some new buff card for 2 mana and hit you. So it's like that sounds, yeah, this card might be really bad. It depends on how the melee goes. And in Arena, then it's hard to say. It is probably an okay 2-drop. Like it's gonna be a 2/4 with taunt, no, a 2/3 taunt, yeah. But anyway, yeah, the next card is card that I don't believe in for a second in Arena. It's called Ravenous Runt. You can see it here is a 2/2. It gives adapt if you have 2 more minions, so it reminds you of what's her name again? The Warlock that becomes a 5/5 if you have 6 on board, right? For example, so it's about how many you have. So obviously, after that Warlock card, this is a good Sue deck card. I think everyone can, you know, see that. But the thing is that 2/2 with adapt, that is not good enough. Compared to the beast, which is like a 3/2, which is very good, which is like boost for the beast, right? That card is easy to get out, or is it 3/2? 2/2 by itself is not good for arena. It's not good enough. Again, this effect is not easy unless you're like a paladin, shaman, or a warlock probably. But there is so yeah, if you're a shaman or a paladin, have like a 1 minion, you know, some token, you respond, and smaller minion and play this thing like a turn 4 or something. Is that good enough? 2/2, they might become a 2/5 something, you play something else. Actually, think about it as a paladin or shaman. At turn 4, you can have like some minion out. You use your hero power, get another minion, play this thing. So you get a 1/1, you get a 2/5 maybe, or a 2/2 with poisonous, and you have your whatever minion you have ready. So that can be decent, but it's probably good in like some Sudex. Doesn't feel very good. In constructed, it's probably not good either. Might be good in some Hunter deck, maybe it's good in some Sudex. But it feels that the adaptation is, yeah, it can be a 5/2, 3/3 for 2 is not good enough. It's stealth is not good enough for a second for this effect. Death Rite is good enough, I guess. Yeah, they also probably add Death Rite. It's not that strong, so and it's very hard to get off at turn 2. It's not impossible to get that at turn 2, right? Even in constructed. So yeah, not a very good card. But it could be interesting if you're taking, for example, the new paladin card like Lost the Jungle, get 2 1/1s, then you play this guy, and you have a lot of like buffing small guys. So I could see this being played especially in Paladin, right? Because Paladin obviously has some tokens and so on. So this might be a good constructed Paladin, and even maybe in Arena if you have the right deck, but probably. I mean, if you pick the Arena, you have to always be Shaman or Paladin, or potentially Warlock if you have a Sudeck, right? And maybe Hunter if you beat it, but it's probably not good for Hunter for a second. So then we got this card that people are loving on the forum and so on. Spirit Echo. And this is a card that gives everything Death Rattle. And this is like Getaway Kodo, which is, you know, if you mean and die, you clear up your hand again. So it's like Getaway Kodo for everyone. The Death Rattle is supposed. It's better because you can do it in your turn, so you can have minions out to play the thing. And yeah, it's obviously it's a very good card. You have to have somewhat of a lead, or at least be equal, so you can play it from behind, of course. That is horrible. It's probably good for several things actually. You have the Murloc, as you can see. It's good for your whole Murloc playing this for the quests, and they're pretty cheap, so you can like sacrifice them maybe at turn 5, and then you can play 2 of them again maybe, because it only costs 1 mana, so that can be good. It's also good if you have a lot of minions out, and you play this card like so kind of, you know, defending against AoE, the AoE it, and you can play out everything again. Then you get the quest done, so that's pretty good. So yeah, so it definitely has some issues with that. And Elemental, of course, you have, you know, you have to play Elemental the next turn, or like the last turn again, so you play this thing. Trade your elementals, they die, and you play one of the ships like a Firefly again. That triggers your next turn's elemental. So yeah, it's like this is an interesting card because you can see it being played in most Shaman decks, I think, that might exist and will exist and so on. In Arena, it's likewise just pretty good because you will get a lot of value from it. If you can buff 2 medium-sized minions, or I mean, in Arena it's more about buffing like a medium-sized minion or a big minion, and you get it back again, so you get a lot of value from that. However, though, you need to be kind of ahead, right? You need to at least have an equal board when you play it, so you can trade off or whatever, preferably. So it's kind of like it's probably not that good in Arena because you need to be in a position where you can play it, right? And I think that's gonna be hard. It might be good though if you play it like a turn 10 and you're just like, I drop some small guys, I buff them with this thing. The next turn you can do whatever, and then I can build them again. That gives a lot of value, but it's also you have to have a lot of cards in your hand then, or some boards. So yeah, so I don't think it's a good arena card actually. I think it's a pretty mediocre arena card because it's hard to get the effect done. Like if you try playing with it's called Ancestral Spirit, right? Which is Recall. This is Spirit, right? When you resurrect them, which is the healing. Whatever that thing is, one of them. Because all one card is resurrect them, right? For 2 mana for one of them. That card is not easy to play in Arena. It's hard. It's hard to get that one card out so you can resurrect, and it also falls in value for it because you want to have something a little medium 4-5 drop or something. That card is very good in Arena, and this card is pretty much the same thing but worse because you get less tempo, you get in your hand again. So yeah, in Arena this card is pretty bad, but for example it can be very interesting. Then we have the Stegodon. I probably have it later on here. Let's see. There we go. Yeah. So the Stegodon is interesting because it's also a spell that gives a paladin spell and gives someone a Stegodon. But the Stegodon itself is also a card. So they are both like a spell that gives Stegodon and a new Stegodon. So one of those very weird. I think that's the first thing I can remember we have something that is spawning a token kind of minion, but it's also you have the token minion as its own playable card. I don't know, yeah, it's interesting. This is the first time in Hearthstone. But anyway, so it's a 2/6 for 4. So this is a pretty good arena card. This is pretty simply a good arena card, because I think that the turtle in arena is not fantastic. 2/7. It's not great for arena, but it's okay, right? It is okay. Usually you can get some hits on 2 drops or whatever, right? This is taunt though, so there's 1 health for taunt. It's definitely worth it, because 7 health is insanely much. So yeah, it's pretty good. Of course, you have the priest card has this thing and the plus death rattling, which is much better. Yeah, which is much better. But still, you know, yeah, it's okay. For Hunter, it's gonna be good because you can obviously buff it with Hound Moss something later on if you survive with a sort of health point. It's a pretty decent arena card, not very fantastic. It's like an amazing arena card. It's really pretty much better, right? So it's not an amazing card, but it's okay. It's uncommon. It's better than a lot of common cards, but it's not this amazing card. It's like a little better than an average uncommon card from an arena. Well, it's definitely playable still. It puts health, taunt, and 6 health, so much better than Moxie Warden with 1/7, right? Because it never kills anything. And also if you buff it, and yeah, it's good for druids who have a lot of beast buffing and so on. Yeah, so it's pretty good. Sucked likewise can see that, but I think Sucked is too weak actually. If beast becomes very good for probably for druid more than hunter, this would fit better. Like buff it with vermin, sending or something. Sensei, yeah, that's probably better than for hunters. So I don't think we see playing Sucked at all actually. Some people think it will, I don't think so. It's just not good enough. But it's a decent arena card. And let's jump over this thing for a second then. And look at this card instead. So this is a 6 mana card from a paladin called Spike Ride Raged Steed Ride. This is actually the Stegodon. So it's basically put your minion on a Stegodon to get the mount. And it gets the Stegodon stats. 2/6, yeah. So it's like a tentacle card, right, for priest. And when it dies, you get the Stegodon back, right? So this is a really sick card actually. So it's 4/12 in stat. So yeah, but it's more about, for arena this is actually a very good buff. Yes, it's 6 mana, but it's very good, because if even you buff for 1/1 silver hand recruit, that's a 3/7 with taunt, right? So in a way they have to trade it off. They have to probably trade off some small guys for it or something. They get another 2/6 with taunt, right? So it's like a Slud Belcher kind of way you play it, but much better with one more mana. Of course, you can buff a good minion with a good ability, use a lot of health, so you can survive some trades and so on, right? So I actually think it's actually a very good arena. It's actually a very good arena card. It is generally very good. Even if you're behind, you can play it, right? Because you usually need 1/1 to buff it, so you get a taunt, then another taunt. So even if you're behind, you can kind of play it and survive. Obviously, it's very weak against silence. It's extremely weak against silence. And it's like 2 minions into one thing. So it's a polymorph and so on as well. Obviously, they both die kind of, right. So it's very weak against the kind of the single target removal, which are very popular, of course, in arena. So it's a risky card to play, absolutely, because people will take polymorph, they will take X1 if they can. So that's an issue. But it's better against like deadly shot and so on, because we still spawn the Stegodon. So overall, it is a very. But I think this is a very good card. And looking back to the Galvadon deck, the buff Paladin deck, this is probably one of the cards you play in the deck, honestly, right? It's hard to play the deck, but this gives you a taunt minion, so you survive longer, and then you get another taunt minion, so you survive even longer, right? So it's a buff that gives you double taunt, kind of ish. It's a buff that gives you, yeah, like a fat Slud Belcher kind of thing, but better. So it should be good for that. The Galvadon deck, because you need to survive. Then you get this super Galvadon, they can like Wind Fury, stealth, kill them or whatever, right? You buff him and you kill them. So I think so. If it's any deck you should play with this card, it's probably that kind of deck, the buff deck. And again, that as I mentioned in my talking about the Galvadon, the buff decks are probably best with like the Divine Shield kind of white minion deck. You have a lot of sheep guys with Divine Shield and you buff them, right? Like Argan Squire and Argan Warfare and so on. This also be good, right? Because you have a 1/1. She goes to 3/7 with Divine Shield taunt, that's really good. Yeah, so if buffing it on the Divine Shield minion is very good. And also those sticky minions are good for arena as well, so I think it's a very good card in arena actually. I think it's a very good card in arena. It's probably actually the best Paladin card in arena we've seen so far. It is a high risk then, because if you could size whatever, it's very bad. But obviously it's a very like, you know, I would say more like medium risk, high gain. You know, it's like a high reward. You know, it's not really high risk, high gain. It's more like medium risk, because yes, if you get screwed over, you really get screwed over. But usually it's pretty fine. You can taunt with something else. You can bait removal. You know, chance of it happening isn't that high actually. Usually, this will lower the first battles and so on. So it should be a really good card arena. Actually, very good card arena. And then let's see what this guy earlier. Then this is called Spirit Singer Umbra, and I really like this card. This is a very cool card. It is like a better Baron Rivendor. Like Baron, he would you know, double death rattle after they died, so it was very fun. It's pretty much the same thing. It doubles death rattle when you play them instead, but it's much better, right? That is so much better. I mean, so you play a Karn, so you play this guy. He's like the new. I think this is the new brand. People, I saw Crip, yeah, Crip really cool. I saw Crip review it. That's how I got the image. Yeah, and he really Crip. What's it called? Oh my god, Fandral. Yeah, Crip compared it to Fandral, and I agree with that. Yeah, it's very similar to Fandral, but I think it's more of a brand card actually. I think brand Bronzebeard in this guy is probably more similar because Fandral, you like, yeah, I have to probably remove it because it has the same mana as Fandral, but it feels more like this is more of a brand thing because with Fandral, you know that okay, they get no reason, it's really bad and so on. But with brand, it's more like, oh, it's to play Jade now, it's double Jade. Oh, you know, it's to play Karn now, Sylvanas now. Oh shit, it's double takeover minion. Oh, it's double Shibieti, right? So I think it's more of a brand effect of this. However, though, I mean, obviously the same thing for both brand and Fandral and so on. Is that if you play this guy, even in arena, he's like, he has to die. So that's the best part of this carding. And I love that with any kind of card. And I was one of the guys, but honestly, I was one of the guys who say, oh my god, Fandral is really imba. Like, he's gonna be really imba. People was like, no, and I was like, yes, because first and foremost, if you play Fandral, they're gonna fireball it, you're gonna pull him off, you're gonna kill your Fandral, like, if you can. And that is a great effect to have on any card. You have to say, this is a pretty good card. Even his stats or whatever, you have to remove it with some kind of spell, right? You have to remove it. This is the same thing with Spirit Singer and Umbra. You have to remove this guy as soon as you can. Because if they play this card, they're obviously playing some kind of probably priest primarily. And you know, okay, they can have Karn, obviously in priest, 4 or 5 very good in priest. They've also been good in priest card. You're gonna have Karn, you're gonna have some other, you know, whatever, death rattle for 4 mana. Then new, for example, Psychodon priest card with like +1. It's a really bad death rattle, but you know, whatever, they're gonna have death rattle cards. So you know that, oh shit, if this guy survives, next turn you can like coin Karn and get a 4/5 plus a 4/5 right away, plus 1 4/5 if you die, another 4/5. You know, you get a lot of value. Like this guy then coin Karn, for example. That is huge value. It always is good that Sylvanas is out then. Maybe this card is actually, I could imagine this card, one of the reasons why Sylvanas is out, because this card would be insane with Sylvanas, right? You play this card, coin Sylvanas next turn, or whatever, but or actually you can even play this card and Sylvanas, because it costs 10 mana in total, right? So you can just play this guy, play Sylvanas on turn 10, take 1 minion. That would be so insane. Yeah, so it's wild, definitely, but yeah, I think this card is actually a big reason why they banned Sylvanas, because obviously this is crazy. So I mean, that's going to be a very good card. We're going to see it a lot in the priest deck, obviously very good for the priest deck card. We're going to see the Ensot, Umbra, and a bunch of death rattle guys. And just getting at the 1/1 out is decent and so on, but generally, like, it's very good. And the best thing, again, though, I would say is this is one of those cards where people are like, oh my god, I have to kill this now. And that is great, because then you next turn can play Karn. No, but that's what. But like, the point with that is that if you play this card, right, and they say, oh, I have to polymorph it, then next turn you play your Karn, for example, they cannot polymorph Karn anymore because they lost the polymorph, and then they can't get your death rattle effect. So it's also very good because it protects your death rattle minions. It's really good at this. They are protected by this guy taking a you know, something like a strong, good single target move, right, like Hex and polymorph as well. It's also very good with this card, and it's good with the whole deck then, so it's going to be an extremely good card to have in the in the precautions. Obviously, Priest are best with it, but also probably Hunt has a lot of good death rates like Savannah Highman and so on. There was some play absolutely, and some more decks. So for Arena then, I mean, obviously in Arena it's not very good. In Arena it's probably like, it's okay to pick, because 3/4/4 isn't the absolute worst thing ever. It's not good, but it's not the worst. So it's like 0/4/4. But primarily, as I always say with Death Rattle in Arena, battles are very good in Arena. They're sticky, I think everyone knows that. Death Rattle are very popular. So any class you play in Arena, not very priest per se, but I guess priest get a little better. Probably say priest though, because you get a lot of new other cards. But just everyone, you pick Harvest Golem, you do pick Harvest Golem, you do pick what more cards are good. I mean, any good legendary cards that is good in Arena, as Sylvanas and so on, right? You always pick them. But I get into it's hard, but yeah. And so on. The 2/6, the Troke is pretty good one. But yeah, it's a good card for except very good for Arena. It's probably, if you have a deck for it, it's probably good. But it's probably good in Arena if you have decks for it. But if you see this card beginning, anyway, let's go to the next card here. Tortolan, whatever, Primalist. This is a card that is like, wow. This card looks insanely bad in a way. A lot of people hate on it. It's I actually think this is a very interesting card. It's quite random, so it's very crazy if it's good or not. But basically, right, you play this 5/8 with a very bad stats. You discover a spell, and this spell is then randomly cast. So if you discover like a fireball, you might kill yourself. And I really hate the MSOT. No, it's called Jog Sword Servant. I hate the card in Arena. It's horrible. You usually kill yourself half the time and so on. It's very bad. This card is similar, but but I mean, obviously, you're gonna discover something like a Flame Strike if you hit them board, hit the board or something. So you always discover like that, or Arcane Intellect or whatever, right? So for Arena, you have to really look at what spell cards exist for my class, because the more like, Mage, I think everyone says Mage is opposite to this card. Mage is like, yeah, in Mage you probably have most like self-targeting thing. You also have Kabbalist Tomb and so on. So that's better. If you play like a Paladin, it's like buff stuff, and yeah, and also of course secrets. It's good. I guess you can get secrets. So you get secrets. I bought the Mage and a Paladin as a hunter, so that's decent. So on, but it's probably a bad card in Arena. It's generally bad. Like it just depends on your class. Mage is obviously the best if it is, because you have the AoE's effect. Someone has a good, yeah, but the thing is that the problem is here, his stats are so bad, right? Like you rather play something like what's good at cost? Well, for 5/4, it's like a 4-drop. So you're paying 4 mana to discover a card against at random, you know, right? So that's actually pretty decent, actually, think about it, because you can get a Flame Strike as a mage. That's pretty okay, actually. Like 4 mana to get that, that's fair. But 5/4 is pretty bad then. So it's like you're pretty much like bundling up a panda, 5/4 panda, right, whatever. Or actually what's called the Toss Rider, yeah. You're bundling up Toss Rider, I would say, with 4 mana to get something really crazy. And that's probably not good enough. I mean, yes, it can definitely turn your tides a lot. So I think for Mage, it's decent. Probably if you know the class, it's good. For like Warlock, it's a lot of like self-suits. I think like Hellfire Storm, it hurt self, so that's really bad. Yeah, for most classes it's very bad, and for Mage it's probably okay, right? But still it's like, wow, what a crazy card, really. It might still play the Extracted. If you play it, maybe like a Reno, you're just gonna have like a Kazakus Mage, I could see it. So you get some random spell. Yeah, it has some value for it, but generally it's like a very bad card. Like, I think you would much rather also play. Think about it, if you get something like kill every minion with like another, you know, you much rather have pay 4 mana, get this discovery effect as a Warlock, and just kill everything, and then it's like, yeah, then you have mana left, like 4 mana left or whatever, so you can play like a Yeti, right? This is really bad because you play this guy, then you discover it. So if you get anything that's like kill everything, and you want to kill everything because I want to have to clear the board to the arena, you have to kill this as well, or like Hellfire him and it's 5/1 and so on, right? So that makes the card so bad. Like you really just, it was the reverse, right? You discover it first and then you play this guy. It would be so much better. That's why that bundle thing is really bad. They bundle it like a really bad stated minion with a really high expensive cost. It would be more interesting if it costed like 4, right? It was like a 0/1 guy and he does this for like you know, 5 mana. That would be better. Maybe we can buff him, or if it's the empty board and so on. Yeah, so if it's the empty board, like let's go Kings, right? That would be more interesting, yeah. So actually I think the design is quite pretty bad in that sense, because I think the effect is kind of fun, so I would like to see the effect being played. Is that neutral gives you a spell? That's very interesting, you know. But it was cool if it was cheaper effect, really bad sense that. That also buffing him would be more worthwhile, so on. So yeah, so if you play an empty board, buff him up maybe, so on, yeah. The next is to play, this is horrible. Probably a really bad card, generally. And then lastly, we have, which some people think is a joke, it's hard to say, it looks really, really crap. Which is Tyrantus. Also the graphics look very good, so I'm almost unsure if it's real or not. But anyway, it's a new Druid legendary, if it's true or not. Tyrantus, it's a 12/12 for 10, so it's like a Deathwing, and it has the Shroud, right? It can't target the special powers. This card looks really, really bad for constructed. It's like horrible bad constructed. It's worse than Deathwing, I would say. Much worse than Deathwing, actually. Deathwing can save you a lot of times and so on. This is just like a really big guy that you cannot kill later, but doesn't have a taunt and so on. So some people say, oh, it's worse than Slit, the 5/9 with taunt and this effect. Probably not, because 5/9 turn 10 is just turn 9 to 10 is just too weak anyway, even with taunt. 12/12 you can't really kill it with anything except Deathwing, so it's like, yeah, it survives stuff and so on. And I mean, one thing actually I would say though, people hate this card a lot, but it has one thing going for it. It's a beast, but you can still target it with your like clone beast card, because that's a card ability. So you can play this card, next turn you clone it, you have two 12/12s that you can target and so on, right? Or you can buff it with Vermin Sensei. So I mean, in the Beast Druid it might maybe playable. But Beast Druid is in the deck, right? No one plays Beast Druid, but maybe they would, and then this card is playable. I don't know, like, but otherwise, I think this card is a really bad design. It's just really boring. You know, it's just a big guy, right? They can't be targeted. It's very, very lackluster. The big problem, it has no immediate impact. I was talking about how big is impact. Like Kalamo has a big impact, not big, but some impact at least, which is 3 in everyone's on. This is like a really, really big minion for 10 mana. So the most highest cost minion ever, right? And it has no impact at all. It has 0 impact this card the turn you play it. So yeah, it just looks really, really bad for constructed, like really bad. Even with the Beast synergy decks, it looks bad because it just has nothing going for it the turn you play. So I hope it's not a joke, because it looks really, really like an April Fool's joke, because it looks horrible, boring, and bad. For Arena, however, I will say for Arena it's a good card actually. For Arena, it's actually a pretty good card, maybe one of the best card actually. Generally, at this mana cost. That's obviously the problem. It costs 10 mana, so you have to survive to 10 mana. But you're a Druid do survives, in my opinion. Druid is the second easy class to survive with in Arena. So you have your taunt minions, you might have your Iron Bark, maybe some Druid Claw earlier, whatever, right? So you probably will survive if you want to. Like, if you play an expensive, more mid-range or late game focus Arena deck and is trying to do that, you probably will survive. And then this guy is really, really good because 12/12 for 10, yes, it's but it's 12/12. You can't target him. He's gonna get like 3-4 guys, right? It's extremely hard to remove him in Arena because you won't have, I don't know, Blade of Cthulhu or something. Yeah, you won't have like Moutler, I suppose, to actually pick some time, but then he returns with full life when he dies. So yeah, so it's like in Arena, it's almost impossible to get into this guy, right? You pretty much have almost zero chance to lose this guy if you ever play him out. He comes very, very late though, so obviously if you're behind, you're gonna die. So it's not the best card ever. But it's like, yeah, it actually, even not having no impact when you play it in Arena, it feels like in Arena you could play this card and actually have a pretty good deck with it, like generally, because it's kind of, as I mentioned, you get 10 mana, and when you play this guy out, how will you remove it, right? So you can either trade all the big guys, or you can keep killing them. So it actually is pretty good in there, I think. Generally, I think the Beast Druid is good in there as well. So it's like the Tiger and the Clone, so it's pretty good, yeah. Beast Druid is quite. I played one this morning before this stream. Didn't go too well. I got like 6-3, I think. I had a few Beast cards. I was trying to do Beast synergy. It didn't really work out. I didn't get any removals at all. It was pretty okay, right? But when I got some good flow, I was won, and I didn't have any removals. So if I didn't have tempo in the beginning, I was lost, right? But it wasn't a very good deck, but it was a decent deck, and this card would have fit very good in the deck because I had the Clone card, I had the Vermin Sensei, I had some owls to buff and so on. So it's pretty good, like generally a lot of these cards, and they work pretty okay without having actually any swipes or wrath or whatever. I only had one Raven Island, only spell pretty much, and it still was pretty good, like almost 7. So okay. And so yeah, I would definitely pick this card in that deck over, for example, Cenurius or Kun. Or I mean, if I had to pick for that deck, a legendary for Druid. This is probably kind of quick. Aviana, absolutely not. Not Kun. That's the one, yeah. So I would never pick those cards over this card. And I'm going to discard him again, but yeah. There's no chance I would do that. So yeah, like, absolutely not. But over this card then. So it's good. I would say it's good for Arena actually. Given that it's first person though. Obviously, if you see that, oh shit, I have a very cheap Druid deck, a lot of small minions, a lot of hit fast minions. How would I use this thing to survive, you know, in the long run? Like how would I even get to turn 10? I either win in turn 5 or 6, or I lose. If that is your deck in Arena, which is not overly uncommon for Druid, sometimes, like we kind of just took a deck, yeah, this card is horrible. Like, how would you play it? Like, you would die way earlier if you forget, oh, you have, you know, lost your board and so on. And it's a big guy which has no impact. But if you play this general, like mid-range or control kind of Druid, try to do that deck, then definitely playable. And if you do the beast thing and use generally, the beast thing are kind of mid-range usually, so they usually survive for a while. And I would say mid-range beast in Arena for Druid has generally a long-term plan, because like play this guy, clone this guy, play this guy, buff this guy, get some, you know, boon easy buffs, and play this guy, buff it, draw a card, and so on. It has to kind of love like card plus value for it. So you wanna play the long game and kind of use, you know, empty the board, kind of trade, and just have a little more value every time, and eventually you have much more bigger guys, generally big guys, against the less card they have. So this card would fit that very well, I think. So yeah, in Arena it's playable, given that you can start to turn to 10 mana. So that's obviously a big if, but I think you usually for use of Druid particularly it's easy. But for Constructed it's very bad, very bad. Even in a pure beast deck, there's zero impact. I mean, even if you can clone it, you can give him buffs and give free costs or whatever. Like, what's even the point of that actually? Buffing him, like, yeah, like that's the point. Also, this card, I guess, supposedly. Like, buffing this guy with like a sensei is bad, because it's like a 14-14, like, doesn't help you much. So yeah, doesn't look very good. But if you can give buff something, there's a hunter card over, like the adapt cards, like adapt a beast. If dude had that could be cool. Like adapt this guy, give him whirlwind, he's immune to the spells. That could be good. Like, yeah, so I could maybe if it's a serious card, maybe it's good when we see all the cards for Druid. Probably not. So yeah, this is an Arena card, I think. Even if you had to have a perfect Druid deck, I think it's good for Arena. Otherwise, horrible crap card. So yeah, that's the last of these cards. And then tomorrow, I guess, or probably maybe on Sunday, I will do is the whole shit to be like 50 more cards to do probably this weekend. So yeah, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys.